You can raise it a little more. I'm not that sure. Now, announcing the selection for the Chicago Blackhawks is one of the most iconic players in franchise history, as well as a recent inductee into the Hockey Hall of Fame, Jeremy Roenick.
What's up, LA? Hello to all my Chicago Blackhawk fans, and a special shout, yeah, I know, go Hawks. And a special shout out to all you who are watching with us back at the official Blackhawks draft party in Chicago. I want to give a thanks to the LA Kings and the city of LA for hosting this incredible event. Also like to give a great shout out to all the firefighters and first responders who've done such heroic work here in LA. You guys are truly all the heroes. As we enter 100 years of Blackhawks hockey and celebrate the franchise's centennial upcoming season, I am honored to be here representing the incredible Blackhawks alumni and welcoming a new player to our storied hockey legacy and heritage. With the third pick of the 2025 NHL Draft, the Chicago Blackhawks select from Djurgården, Anton Frondell.
This kid's a two-way stud. He was at the Combine an absolute menace. 14 minutes on the VO2 max bike test. Yeah. This is the kind of guy they needed, Megan, in Chicago.
Well, you look at size and direct style of play, he makes passes under pressure, and he actually has the highest board rate success of any forwards in this draft, over 81%. So you can see how he would translate. Frondell makes a perfect splash into the NHL with this style. He's physical, he's got size. Clearly Chicago saw that in him.
Listen, he's playing in a great program in Sweden, in Djurgården, and potentially there could be as many as 3, himself and 2 others drafted today from his club team. But in saying that, what comes to mind in speaking to people in Sweden, the word that they used was commanding. He has a very commanding presence on both sides of the puck every time he's on the ice. And Emma, you live in the Chicago area. He's the type of player that, based on the makeup of their team, with Bedard, with Vlasic, and some of the other pieces that they have, he's the type of player they need.
Absolutely. Look, you're not going to see him next year for the Blackhawks, but I did catch up with Kyle Davidson this week, and he told me in the rebuild, this is the exciting part because we're starting to see these guys get to the NHL level and start to find their legs. And I think they're going to be a lot less active this summer in free agency because they want to leave some spaces open for their young players. But Anton Frondell, you mentioned he crushed the Combine in terms of testing. I was told the interviews, right? I was mentioning earlier of how well prepared these guys are. Someone who interviewed him told me he was inquisitive without being a suck-up. There's a presence about him, both on the ice and just the way he carries himself. And someone who works closely with him told me he doesn't know how good he is. Can you imagine that?
Well, we talk about getting on the inside, especially come playoff time, and that's what this guy does. He gets to the inside of the ice, reads plays, heavy shot, and this seems like the right pick at the right time for Chicago.
Definitely that physical nature is what jumped out to me. I saw him at the U18s, went through the scouting report. I had a few scouts say it wasn't a great tournament for him, but when I saw him on the ice, it was obvious, right? The strength, the speed, he gets to the right places at the right times and gets the puck from people.
You know, I was told I don't think he's going to be a 100-point type of guy in the NHL. You know, that's what they're hoping. Connor Bedard, maybe now Frank Nazar after the offseason he's had, or what he showed in Chicago can be. But he's got a really heavy shot, and his two-way game, that's what's going to excite the Blackhawks the most. Very driven player, and I think Chicago, city that I live in, is really going to like him.
And he heads to the NHL Draft House.
Your number 3 overall pick.
Anton, Kyle Davidson here. Welcome to Chicago. We've got a really excited room, and we couldn't be more excited to make you a Blackhawk and have you join this really exciting group of young players and prospects that we're building.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for believing in me. I'm shocked. I'm excited. Thank you.
What was the big differentiator for you guys to go ahead and make Anton the selection here?
Well, I think he's just, first of all, he's an incredible player. It was great to get to know him throughout the year and then at the Combine, and he's a great person, but I think he's an excellent complement to what we've got here in Chicago, and I think he's going to really help us in building those next great Blackhawks teams.
What is that like to hear?
Funny, cool. I'm glad to hear it. Thank you guys again.
Congratulations. Enjoy this moment. Your newest member of the Chicago Blackhawks, ladies and gentlemen.
You know, when I talked to Kyle Davidson this week, and he has a new coach in Jeff Blashill, he said the conversations they've had are that they want to be a relentless team, pressure all over the ice. And based off of what Megan and Maxie were telling me about this guy, I feel like he fits in exactly to that plan.